So I've been back home from Thailand for 6 days now, and I thought I would just share with you the unfortunate story of how I ended up spending more money on my last day in Thailand than I ended up spending in my entire month in Thailand. And it's also the story of how I lost my voice. It's very unfortunate, but it's kind of funny, so at least hopefully you'll enjoy it. So the flight home from Thailand in total is about 21 hours, which is a pretty decent chunk. And I have a bit of a problem with sitting still, and I decided that it would be a good idea. I thought it would be a good idea to go to the pharmacy to get sleeping pills so that I could just sleep the whole way and not get claustrophobic and worry about sitting still. So that's exactly what I did. I went to the pharmacy, I asked for sleeping pills. He didn't really speak English, he knew what I was talking about though. So me and another girl from the hostel, we went up to a rooftop bar for sunset. We had a couple drinks, went downstairs. It was 8 p.m. I had to be at the airport 6 a.m. the next day. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to bed, turned off the lights, ate one of the sleeping pills. So I'm lying there for like 10 minutes and I started to feel like so hungry. And I was like, you know what? I really need to go out and get food. Like I'm not going to be able to fall asleep. I'm starving. So I walk over to a restaurant and that's where it all began. When I get to the restaurant, I sit down. I was sitting alone, and sitting beside me, there's like these couches outside. There's these three Brazilian girls, and they started talking to me. They're so nice and friendly. They said like, "Come sit with us." So I went over and joined them, and we were having some wine, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's your last night in Bangkok, and you haven't even been out clubbing?" And I was like, "No, but I can't because like I got to be at the airport at 6 a.m." And they're like, "No, come with us." So I was like, well, one drink can't really hurt. So we went to this place called Oscar or whatever. It's pretty fun, and these girls are really beautiful, these Brazilians. So there's, lots of guys buying us drinks all night, and one drink quickly turned into 6 or 7 drinks. And then they said, "Oh, we're going to another place, and you can't miss out. This is one of the best places, one of the best clubs in the world, or something. You have to come." And keep in mind, like, I had not been planning on going out clubbing. I turned out the lights and was laying in my bed. So I was just wearing flip-flops, and by this time it was like pretty late. All the stores were closed. And so we show up at the club and he says, "You're not allowed to wear flip-flops inside." And I was like, well, I guess that's where I leave you guys, because like I can't get in, and it's not like I can buy shoes anywhere. So I should probably just go home. So I said goodbye to my friends, walked over to the taxi stand. But then I think the combination of the sleeping pill, the alcohol, and it being my last night of vacation kind of all had this trifecta. I just started to get this mad like FOMO, like why wasn't I allowed in the club because of my shoes? And it felt so unfair. I couldn't do anything about it. So I just decided to ask my cab driver if he would trade me his shoes for 500 baht, which after some negotiating he agreed, but they were absolutely enormous on me, and like just like really dirty and not very nice shoes. So I put the new shoes on, got in line, they let me in with them for some reason, and went upstairs to the club. And it was pretty busy, so like I couldn't find my new friends anymore, but I was just like so happy with myself for getting into the club. So I was tearing it up in the dance floor with my new slash really old shoes, and there's like this guy watching me, and he waves me over, and he was like, "Girl, you look fly as fuck, but I gotta ask you, like, what is up with those shoes?" And he was like this gay American dude, and I told him the whole story. And he was like, "Oh my God, I love you. That's the funniest thing I've heard on my whole trip. Like, you are my new best friend." So, of course, we made best friends, and so then all the lights come on, and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's 3 in the morning." And he's like, "Don't worry. Like, I know a really good after hours place that we can go." So we go to another club, and by the time I got home, basically, it was 5:30 in the morning when I went into my little hostel bunk, And I did have an alarm on my phone set for 6 a.m., but I was like, you know what? I should probably just go straight to the airport. But the next thing I remember, it was someone else's alarm was going off in the room, and it was 10:30 in the morning. So I just started freaking out, and I was like, no, 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 God, no, how did this happen? Until someone else in the room told me to shut up because they were trying to sleep. So I jumped in a cab to the airport, and I had to buy new tickets home. So, my night out clubbing in Bangkok, I would say definitely wasn't worth $700 to me, as fun as it might have been. But anyway, then on the way home, like during the flights, I just kept popping the sleeping pills like every time I would wake up. And by the time I got to Montreal, I was so out of it. For like the next 3 days, all I did was sleep and then like wake up with like fever and sweating and shaking from like awful nightmares with like sandpaper dry throat every few hours. And that went on for quite some time. And sure enough, woke up yesterday and my voice was completely gone. And it actually seems like my body might have gone through some kind of like withdrawal or overdose from Valium. So, yeah, that's the story of how I got like this. The end.